Is it better now? Is it okay? And
Yeah,
am I
so
audible
far.
to? Okay, so Dr. Gulbash, presently she is the Dean of International College of Fashion in Okhla. She holds a PhD degree in design education and a dual MBA in marketing and human resource. And she's done her BSc in design. And adding feather to her cap, she's recently written a book entitled 10 Threats to Fortune, a guide for fashion entrepreneurship. So, welcome, ma'am. Thank you for lending us your weekend.
Thank you, Richard. See, I've been talking all through, but yes, um, I will disagree with Richard, sir. It's not a sad morning. It's a beautiful morning, wintry, and I'm sure a lot of you are sitting in your rajais and kambals in the bed. And I feel when you've joined in for this, the first step is already taken. So even if it's a lazy step, it doesn't matter. But yes, so welcome. And I hope you are all covered with, what do you say? 1 second. I've been asked to switch on my camera. Yeah, 1 second. I hope this works. Okay. Hi. All right. So, yeah, so I hope you guys are all tucked in, all warm with a cup of coffee, tea, milk, whatever you guys are having. But stay comfortable and stay focused. And today we are going to be talking about your mindsets. So there's a term called fashion entrepreneur. So it's a fashionpreneur, and we will discuss your mindset. And let me tell you, in any kind of field, specifically in design, in fashion, you need to understand that you cannot solely work on one key skill. Okay, so here you'll need to be a jack of all. So whether you want to start your own businesses or you want to get some experience working under somebody, whichever way it works, you should be able to understand this industry from a 360-degree point of view. ठीक है सो आज हम जो शुरुआत कर रहे हैं वो हम कर रहे हैं टू स्टार्ट टेलिंग यू कि ये है क्या फैशन माइंडसेट क्या है एंटरप्रेन्योरियल माइंडसेट क्या है एंड हम उसको आगे कैसे ले जा सकते हैं so to begin with, I think all of you were asked to fill in one form where we would understand each person's mindset to become a fashion entrepreneur. I see a lot of people have filled in, but still a lot of people haven't. So, who hasn't, I would request you to do that because towards the end of the session, we will discuss your scores and guide you on what kind of careers that you would like to take in as your specializations. So, एक बात तो बहुत क्लियर है कि हमें इस इंडस्ट्री में आने के लिए हर सब्जेक्ट हर टॉपिक का नॉलेज चाहिए और हम अपने आप को यूनिक तब बना सकते हैं जब हम उसकी एक स्पेशलाइजेशन ले सकते हैं सो अगर मैं डिजाइनर बनना चाह रही हूँ जरूरी नहीं है कि मेरे को डिजाइनिंग आना चाहिए या मुझे स्केचिंग आना चाहिए सो क्रिएटिविटी इज डिफाइंड इन अ वेरी डिफरेंट मैनर तो हम ये आज समझेंगे कि हमारे को सब कुछ आना चाहिए लेकिन हमारा स्ट्रेंथ किस में है और हमें यूनिक क्या करता है क्या बनाता है टू गो एंड मूव अहेड इन दिस इंडस्ट्री ठीक है सो लेट्स take this forward. Richard sir will take you through the slides and will tell you what this industry is all about. And towards the end of it, we will discuss your scores and we will also give you people who have joined in. Unko, after the session, we will share a booklet specially written to it's like a 30-day guide for you to start your own business so it's a pointer wise so congratulations for all those who've joined so we will take it forward we will share it with you towards the end of the session Okay, and it will be only given to people who will be there till the end. Okay, so over to Richard sir, and before I tell him to start, let me tell you, Richard sir is he's a faculty with us in design, and he teaches trends and forecast. He teaches designing. He also teaches you social media. He also teaches all the softwares and CADs and illustrators, etc., etc. So he is great with his aesthetic senses, and he's a brilliant mentor for people who are looking into developing creativity. And he's studied from NIFT. He's also part-time teaching at NIFT. And yeah, so that's what he is. And he's one of the favorites with his students, and he laughs with them, he enjoys with them, and that's where he develops the creative sets in everybody's minds. So over to you, Richard sir, and let's convert this cool morning into an interesting session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. I hope I'm audible. So I'll just
Yes, you are.
start sharing. Is the presentation visible to all?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes,
that's
sir.
great. That's great. Like the name suggests, fashionpreneurship is fashion plus entrepreneurship. So to understand entrepreneurship and fashion, you really need to understand fashion. Of course, so everybody who's joined it, I'm sure you have something in you, something that makes you stand out of the box, that makes you creative. So when we say fashion, fashion is a very generic term, right? When you're young, your fashion turns out to be your fashion. You say, "Meko to fashionable rehna pasand hai." But as you grow, you realize that it is more a career option. So once you diverse into fashion, you understand there is fashion designing, there's fashion merchandising, there's fashion styling, there's fashion photography. So that is one aspect. Other than that, there is fashion designing, there's textile designing, there's accessory designing, there's leather designing, and it's like a huge, huge, huge a world of its own. So it is very, very important once you come on board, uh, especially in fashion, that what is your niche, where do you want to go, what do you want to do. So in ICF, when students come on board, the initial first 2 weeks are something what we call it as an incubation period, where we give different random aspects, we give different assignments all mixed up to understand how a student performs or what his niche. Some might be good in construction, some might be good in pattern making, some might be good in illustration, some might be good in say softwares and digital designing. So we encapsulate, we teach everything, and then the entrepreneurship comes in. So at ICF, you just don't study design, you also study how to sell your design, how to make your design as a business. So the very said is very dynamic. It is full of changes. You cannot be one person and stay in your comfort zone and say, okay, my design is good, 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 and you stay within your box and be in your comfort zone. You have to sell design. You have to make money. You have to raise capital. And how do you do it? You sell your design. So now if you see in simple example, if I say, there are so many designers, इतने सारे designers हैं. आपका customer आपके पास क्यों आए और उनके पास क्यों नहीं? Digital marketing and all. So there is more competition. People are selling through Instagram. So now you have to strategize yourself, you know, you have to create a path so that people come directly to you. So it is a challenging.
So your voice is getting cracked. We're unable to hear you.
Industry, but it is, am I not audible?
Well, in between, yes, but
Okay, so I'll repeat. Fashion industry is very, very challenging, but it's also rewarding as well. So people, if who missed out, I'll say that, you cannot be in your comfort zone and say, oh my God, my designs are the best, 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 and you don't sell. So you have to enter the market. And to survive the market, you really need to have a strategic plan. Why should customers come to you and not the other person? How do you survive? How? Because fashion world is about human behavior. It's constantly, constantly changing. So it is very important to understand your market, understand your design, understand your client, understand your niche market. What do they want? So why is it important? Because it is the very first thing is you are blending in your creativity with a business mind, right? And why is business important? Because you need to create money. Like I said, you need to run your business. You need to raise capital. Secondly is independence and ownership. You are the boss. You take the decision, right? Entrepreneurship teaches you what decision should you take at what situations. We have an entire program, we have different subjects at ICF that inculcate all of this. So Dr. Gulbash will take you through this because she teaches entrepreneurship and she will make you understand how different situations, what decision you should take. Third is an opportunity to grow. Once you get into the design and the fashion industry, you'll be designing different trends. You never know what trend works where, and it is like a reward for your own self. You today you are just running a boutique. Tomorrow you might be doing a show at all of these fashion weeks. You might go international, you might be going global. Fourth, fashion industry is full of challenges. It is high risk and high returns. So of course you have to bear the risk. You have to take that step. Sometimes it might fail, sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not. But it is high risk and high returns. Last but not the least is global. With globalization in peak, digital marketing, social media, you can go global. So it is very, very important, like I said, always to understand your design sensibility, understand the market. There has to be a constant study of the market because the market keeps changing depending on what's going on, economic factors, political factors, with wars and all these things. The market keeps changing. So does the demand. So global reach does not only mean reaching out to international, say, fashion shows or international shows or events. It's also about understanding the international market as well and how you balance your market, domestic market with the international. For example, in exports, your aesthetics might be a different person, so you have to be in equilibrium with the person or the brand from which you are, for whom you are designing for. So that is why these all are important. Understanding the fashion market. So this is a very tricky but a fun thing to do. Fashion markets at ICF, we tell our students to just go to these normal flea markets like Sarojini or Lajpat Nagar and to just go around and see what's happening. And it's not like we send them once. We send them on regular basis, and these students go out, take pictures, take notes, speak to people, and understand what's going on. And by the end of the day, when we are putting all the information together, we see that there is a constant change. Sometimes neon colors are there, sometimes skirts are in, sometimes shorts are in. So, it is important once you're in the fashion business to understand the fashion market, because it is very dynamic, very flexible. And now the concept of being gender neutral is in. So to able to, if you want your brand to survive, you really need to understand your fashion market. And within that market also comes your niche market or your clientele, whom you're catering to. Their tastes and preferences also change. So you really need to understand and study the market. Moving on to the next is building a brand identity. A perfect example is आजकल लोग आईफोन ज़्यादा क्यों खरीदते हैं, right? It has a brand identity. The Apple symbol, you go to any Zara store or anywhere where there's a huge mirror, a selfie with that symbol works. So Apple has strategically placed and used that icon in such a way that the demand for iPhone is at its peak, right? People will buy iPhone with EMIs even if they can't pay, but they still want to have that product. So they're selling. So that's the unique brand identity. Second is actually, what if really off the sorry,
So while Richard's is taking a little while to get back, an interesting thing here is for you to understand कि जो Apple वाला example दिया है ना, so why do you build a brand uniqueness? How do you do that? हमेशा ब्रांड जब हम क्रिएट करते हैं ना, हमें एक ब्रांड स्टोरी बनाना होता है. सो यू काइंड ऑफ क्रिएट अ ब्यूटिफुल स्टोरी फॉर पीपल टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इट. So brand stories and brand identities are made connecting with people's emotions. So Apple actually does not sell a product. आप अभी कभी भी उनके इंस्टाग्राम जाओगे या उनके एड्स देखोगे, वो कभी नहीं कहेंगे एप्पल फोन या एप्पल iMacs and stuff like that. They'll never say that. But what they will say is the pictures that are taken with it, the ease of working with it is. So वो सारी चीजें आती हैं जब आप emotionally connect हो जाते हो. So when you start connecting with people's emotions, your brand value increases. So people connect with you not because of anything else. They connect कि अरे यार इसके साथ है तो ये मेरा status symbol बन गया. So हम अगर कोई Android phone लेके घूमते हैं, and I'm telling you, I will vouch for all of them. They are the best so far, feature wise. But अगर हाथ में एक Apple का 12 भी होगा या Apple 6 भी होगा ना, वो Apple का फोन हाथ में होगा, तो हमारा कॉन्फिडेंस ही कुछ और होता है. So the point is not the any other value. The features in an Android phones are amazingly beautiful. लेकिन वो एक status symbol होता है, and people would like to buy something or get connected with something जो कि मुश्किल है मिलना या फिर महंगा है. Brands do well primarily because people feel that it's difficult to get. और जब हम एक चीज मिलती है हमें जो मुश्किल से मिलती है उसकी वैल्यू बढ़ती है. So brand identity kind of goes side by side. Richard sir, are you back or you want me to continue?
I'm
Okay,
here.
he's
I'm here.
back.
Okay, so nobody has any questions. I think the webinar would be really interesting if people who joined it would throw us some questions and we can have like a conversation. Otherwise, it's going to be like a very boring, monotonous one-way talking.
So if anybody has a question, if you want, you can just raise your hand, or you can put it in a Q&A chat, or Q&As,
No
or a
questions?
chat, or whichever ones, and we'll answer the questions for you. Okay, please feel free to do that.
Or just open your mic and just speak it up.
So till people decide whether they want to talk or not, let's just continue.
Okay, all right, let's move on.
Oh, wait, somebody has come. How to create a unique brand. So that's
Ma'am, I
Pooja. Okay. Pooja, like I said, आपका जो आप ब्रांड आप कनेक्ट करते हो या आप उसको आगे बढ़ाते हो, that's based on one, the uniqueness of your product or service. Two, how you are positioning your brand. Three, how you're connecting to your consumer base. Okay? So these are the three very important things. अगर हम कोई भी brand create करें, हमको okay, so I'll give you an example. I had gone to a BRICS Fashion Summit in Moscow last year. And वहाँ पे there was this designer who asked me this question in one of our panel discussions. And she said, I want to make a affordable brand. I want everybody to be able to wear designer wear. So my friend, ये बहुत गलत thought है. अगर आपको अफोर्डेबल बनना है तो आप तो रेगुलर मास मार्केट ब्रांड बन जाओ. कोई बात नहीं, आप सरोजनी नगर में एक मार्केट कर लो, आप जनपद पे चले जाओ, आप किसी लोकल मार्केट में चले जाओ, मेक इट अफोर्डेबल. बट हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू बिकमिंग अ ब्रांड? आप बड़े ब्रांड कैसे बनोगे? आप डिजाइनर लेबल कैसे बनोगे? तो वो बनने के लिए आपको अपनी पोजिशनिंग हाई करनी है. So if you want to become a designer label, you cannot think of affordability. You will have to cater to people who can afford to buy these kind of clothes. उनके लिए आपकी क्वालिटी अच्छा होना चाहिए, लुक एंड फील अच्छा होना चाहिए, टेंजिबिलिटी फैक्टर्स अच्छा होना चाहिए. सो आपको ब्रांड बनना है तो आपको अफोर्डेबल नहीं बनना है, आपको शुरुआत ही ऊंचे से करनी है. That's where you will start your brand. Okay, so that's how that one step to creating your brand. I hope I've answered that question, Pooja. Chalo, so sir, carry on. Thanks, Pooja. Richard, sir.
For example, these days you see these fashion influencers, you won't get that grab. Networking, yes, important. So as to, it eases out your way how to go into all these events, able to get access for shows, so as to study them, how to, like go about and see how these events are done. What does it take to attend these events and how to participate? You need a lot of networking, not just for events and all. Say, for example, you're running a clothing brand. Networking helps you, say if you know some model and you can like collaborate or do a barter system and all, and you can get your photo shoots done from that particular model. It saves your money, and you can just get your shoots done, and you can do a barter. Say for example, a one-day shoot, you take one outfit or something like that. So there is like a give and take. So networking and collaborations are very important. uh, it not just gives you the upper hand to able to understand different aspects of the market, but it gives you more visibility. Collaborations also get in capital. Say, for example, your brand collaborates with a particular other brands. Say, like quite recently, there was this collaboration by Zara. It was like a capsule collection uh, with one of these designers who was an artist. So, I mean, he was able to get some money. He got his recognition. He got his visibility in the fashion industry. For example, quite recently, designer Aneet Arora, who runs this brand called Pero, collaborated with this brand called Hello Kitty, and she had put up an exhibition for a month in Delhi. And she was there, she was trending on Instagram. So network and collaborations, again, go hand in hand. I think we've reached almost the last of it.
Just to
Sustainability.
intervene one thing, sir. Neha has asked a question that I want to open a luxury print brand, so how can I move further? So answering that, Neha,
Okay.
one, I don't know what your background is, so maybe when we can talk one on one, we can discuss that. But one, you need to start understanding the knowledge or get the knowledge of this industry. So get some uh, degree, diplomas, or whatever. Okay, so that's the first step. Second step is see, you're looking at prepwear, so your competition in prepwear will be so many brands. Like so has been talking about Zara, then there is an H&M, then there is Uniqlo's, and there's so many of them. So they're all prepwear brands. Okay. So when it comes to designer label, uh, you cannot straight away start with a prepwear because a designer label is looked at in a manner where I can get something which is unique, not that everybody has. And in India, pretwear is more Indian. We can call Indo-Westerns, etc. But when it's pretwear collection, if it's Indian, then there is W, there is Sabhyata, there is Fab India, there is Biba, there are all of those. When it's Western wear, there are other Western brands. So which one would you want to compete with, and whether you can or not? Okay, so you will have to probably bring in some kind of unique value or a first mover's advantage to get into that kind of okay, so you've written I'm a fashion designing student from NIFT. Okay, so even if you're studying so fashion design hai, so you are primarily studying sketching and garment construction patterns, etc., but you'll need to understand the market and who you are selling to. Okay, so in case let's say if you are selling something or you're making something, you're creating a shirt. Okay, so in a fashion world, creativity cannot come, uh, though you're learning that, but you cannot show creativity in your garment. ओके, क्योंकि वो रैंप पे बहुत अच्छा लगता है, बट आप और हम वो लोग वो सब चीजें पहन के नहीं घूमते हैं. हम लोग नॉर्मल शर्ट्स पहनते हैं, उसमें एक एलिमेंट होना चाहिए विच इज नाइस एंड डिफरेंट, मे बी अ प्रिंट, मे बी अ कलर, मे बी वन मोटिव, और सम सिलुएट मैनिपुलेशन, कुछ ऐसा होना चाहिए, बट वो वेरिएबल होना चाहिए और अफोर्डेबल होना चाहिए. क्योंकि प्रेटवेयर में लोग लाखों रुपए नहीं खर्चेंगे अनलेस यू आर Chanel or bigger brand or a Versace. But normal startup में you will not be able to do that. अब आप अगर किसी ब्रांड स्टोर में भी जाते हो, आप जारा में जा रहे हो या आप H&M में जा रहे हो, you will barely find colors there. You will barely find anything overly creative. But it's a brand value that you've created that makes you go there. हम उसका थैला लेके घूमेंगे, भले ही उसमें हम टिफिन बॉक्स लेके घूमेंगे, but we will want people to know कि ये ब्रांड से मैं शॉपिंग कर रही हूँ. Okay, so that's what you have to understand, and to be a good part of it, the most important would be your fits and finishes, your quality of your product. Very, very important. So you will have to really work towards what is your first mover's advantage. Also, what is your fit, feel, look of the garment, and how much you're reaching out to people. Like Sir just said, networking extremely important. So you can reach out from these social media platforms to people to begin with. So it's a long journey to be a brand, and you will have to be consistent and persistent. And I'm not so sure if you have, Neha, filled in the form, but yes, you will have to understand that becoming a Pret brand, you will have to be super agile. Okay, you'll have to move with the times so fast. So that's what my suggestions for you is. And then Pranjali is asking who earns more, brands that target a large number of population or brands that are highly expensive. Well, we can't say right from wrong here. Okay, आपका जो कंज्यूमर बेस है, जो टारगेट मार्केट है, उस पे डिपेंड करेगा. अगर आप हाई एंड मार्केट कर रहे हैं तो आपका ब्रांड है. Okay, then Stella McCartney's are very well selling. But if you're trying in selling Stella McCartney in West Delhi somewhere, or maybe a North Delhi, or maybe North Delhi is rich people. I'm not being judgmental. But if you're okay, a TS2 stick, okay, आप जलंधर में जाके बेचेंगे तो वहां नहीं उसका वैल्यू आएगा. Okay, so it's a very common thing that we always talk about, that if your market wants rotten apple, you sell rotten apple. आप वहां पे designer clothing नहीं बेच सकेंगे. ठीक है? So that's your answer. And Shirik is asking another question. 1 second. Isn't it risky to heavily invest in fashion business from the start, especially when the brand is not yet recognized by the public? Wouldn't be better begin with an affordable brand once the brand gains recognition? Okay. Shirik, you are right in a lot of extents, and it's a good question. We, so I teach entrepreneurship, okay? And my first thing is, you start with something, even if it's wanting to be luxury brand. Like I said, you will have to start with a target audience in mind. If you are asking to become a smaller brand to begin with and then grow into a bigger brand, it's going to be a long journey, and it's also going to be a difficult one, because people have already perceived you as a affordable brand. तो आपको अफोर्डेबल ब्रांड से लग्जरी ब्रांड में कन्वर्ट होना बहुत मुश्किल होगा. Okay, so my suggestion is start small, but do start with the kind of audiences you want to get to. Do not think low and get high later. वो नहीं होगा. आपको अगर लग्जरी में जाना है तो लग्जरी में ही जाइए. आप लग्जरी के स्टैंडर्ड से आप थोड़े अफोर्डेबिलिटी मीडियोकर में जा सकते हो, बट आप छोटे ब्रांड से शुरू करके लग्जरी ब्रांड पे नहीं पहुंच पाओगे. इट्स अ वेरी लॉन्ग शॉट. Okay, so my job here as a mentor is to tell you guys, to burst your bubbles, कि इतनी आसान नहीं है जो आपको लगता है कि हाँ हमने ये सीख लिया और हम फटाफट आ जाएंगे. नहीं होगा. आपको राइट पाथ चूज करना है टू रीच वेयर यू रियली वांट टू. So you want to get into luxury brand, start with a luxury brand. I'll give you an example. One of our students, in fact, two of them, they're a couple. So they've started a brand in streetwear. And the first collection they actually launched, pretty affordable, but they went to CDCs. So they started with something high. Okay. So for them to move further from there, that's an easy path. बट अगर मैं ये कह रही हूँ मैं सिर्फ सोशल मीडिया पे बेचना शुरू करूंगी, तो मैं आगे सोशल मीडिया से आगे बढ़ने के लिए मुझे बहुत टाइम लगेगा. So I hope I've answered that questions for you. Anytime, Sheree. Okay, sir. Please continue. Let's finish your slide.
Okay, so the last but not the least is sustainability in fashion business. It is important, and it is very important because your consumer, your customer, your buyer is more aware now. So people do not buy, say, fur because they know it's like cruelty to animals. Uh, so it is important to understand uh, what is sustainability, how eco-friendly your brand is. I'll give you an example. Say, for example, you're making shirts and you are saying you are making shirts with 100% organic cotton, right? So you cannot be sure and say my brand is sustainable because the procurement of that organic cotton is done by kids, right? So that is child labor. So that is not sustainable. So you have to check from the procurement to the final product at different aspects that all of it falls in place irrespective and as per the rules set up. There shouldn't be child labor, there shouldn't be excessive working hours, there shouldn't be use of harmful chemicals. So you have to keep a check, then only you can say your brand is sustainable. Because normally the idea of sustainability today is, okay, I'm using organic fabrics, I'm using chemical free fabrics, and it's done. If you're making shirts and selling it and saying, oh, it's 100% organic cotton, but you're not paying your karigars, that's not sustainability, right? Sustainability does not only mean eco-friendly, save the nature, XYZ. It also involves, healthy practices, ethical practices. So it is important because, with social media and with consumers being aware, you have to play it safe. You behind your back, for example, you're running a brand and behind your back, you're doing something wrong and somebody makes a video of it, you're gone. So sustainability in business, sustainability in brand, sustainability in your clothing, everything should be, well packed, well in equilibrium, and you have to keep a constant check that you shouldn't go wrong anywhere. You're paying your salaries, you're paying, a healthy price for your raw material. You're paying all these karigars, all these embroiders, all these people whom you get things outsourced from. So that is sustainability, and it is very, very important. So for the brand visibility. So this comes to conclusion of the fashionpreneurship. Last slide would be more about the attributes. So there are around 6, 7, but we'll be focusing more on 4 of these. Creativity with strategy. How you balance out design with your business goals. That's the first one. And second is resilience and adaptability. When we say adaptability, how you take a particular change in the industry, how strong are you in taking up challenges while you're running the business? So that is the second aspect. Last is risk taking, which is very important to run a brand. You cannot say, oh my God, my brand's the best, and not take part in any events or showcase your collection. How will the world or how will your market get to know that you have a brand, running around? So risk taking, I think in what people think is that, okay, investing in particular thing or investing here and there, that's not the thing. Risk taking can be anything. Say, for example, you're running a brand, you've come up with a collection, and under the limelight.
So your voice cracking. Okay, I think you are in a bad connectivity area. So what I'll do is to take this forward, because since this was his last slide, so let me just take you through. I'll screen share and I will share. Just a minute. Okay, so we had discussed about how your scores are. I will take one example because we are short on time also. So I'll take an example of an extreme and an example, I mean, somebody who's really scored well and somebody who's not scored well. Not well, but yeah, lower scores. So I'll take an example of Pooja since I just spoke to Pooja as well. So Pooja, you had scored a good 43, okay, which means your interest level is pretty high. Okay, so we'll decipher it further. So, which means you have a strong entrepreneurial mindset, leveraging this to explore high impact roles and opportunities. So, when we say this, I must reiterate this fact that anybody who is wanting to get into this business does not necessarily have to start immediately. So, you have an option of starting yourself right from the beginning, or if you want to get hired by somebody or work under somebody, then if you are working as a business mind in that organization, your value is far 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 better than anybody else. Okay, so that's what we call entrepreneurs. So people who are working to bring in more business, to understand the market and create. So even if you are a designer or an assistant designer with somebody, if you're creating a collection which resonates to the market in terms of popularity, in terms of what is selling good, what is not selling so good, what are your competitions doing, etc., 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 then your designs are going to come out better and the sales will increase. So you are directly or indirectly contributing to the business. And whoever does that has a better value in the organization. And trust me for that. Okay. And we have one Gaurav who has scored, Gaurav has scored 26. So he is on a way to start the journey. He still needs to identify what he needs to do. Okay. And of course, he needs to build his confidence. So now I won't take this discussion, but I will just quickly go through what this means. So when Pooja, on one hand, has a high creativity score. Okay. Now, this creativity does not necessarily mean as an entrepreneur or as an entrepreneurial mindset कि आपने गारमेंट बहुत क्रिएटिव बना लिया, बड़े बड़े कॉलर बना लिए, बड़े बड़े स्लीव्स बना, वो अच्छा नहीं है. Okay, here the creativity it means is the ability to generate innovative ideas and solutions to solve problems or create value. Okay, so your solving problems probably is better. Okay, so you can of course look at a fashion design, textile design, visual merchandising, trends forecasting. So these will be your high intent scores. Okay, but again let me repeat this. आप अगर क्रिएटिव हैं तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप सिर्फ ड्राइंग अच्छी कर रहे हैं, आप बिजनेस में भी क्रिएटिव होना जरूरी है आपको. So you are good at doing that. Okay, so you need to be more innovative. You need to solve a problem. When I say solve a problem doesn't mean कि कपड़े नहीं पहनने आ रहे हैं तो हमको ऐसा बनाना है जो easy पहन ले. The point is आपका category of audiences कौन है. Okay, so if they are elderly senior citizens, so at that point of time and age, उन लोगों को क्या restrictions है when they are dressing themselves up. उनके जॉइंट्स में पेन होता है, या झुक नहीं सकते हैं, या वो कंसंट्रेट नहीं कर सकते हैं, जिपर्स नहीं लगा सकते हैं, बटन नहीं बंद कर सकते हैं, तो आपको उसका एक ऑल्टरनेटिव देना है. दैट्स वेयर डिजाइन इज कंसर्न्ड. बट if you're not making anything that's solving that problem, but maybe उनको आप, how do you reach? You're an online brand. अब आप उनको कैसे पहुंचोगे? How do they know? They are not savvy. Then how do they get to know you're making something for them? So that's another problem solving, which is requires creativity, which means आपको possibly, so again, consumers and customers, we break them down again. So consumers will be the senior citizens, and customers will be their children, their grandchildren, or anybody younger in their family. Okay, so वो देखेंगे ऑनलाइन, वो खरीदेंगे ऑनलाइन, लेकिन यूज आपका कंज्यूमर करेगा. I hope I'm giving that clarity. Richard, sir, in between, I cannot see the screen for questions. If there's a question, please stop me. Okay. And the next thing, Pooja, you've required here is resilience, which again you've scored high, high 7. Actually, I'll call it moderate. So resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from setbacks and challenges. And trust me, in this industry, whether you are working for yourself or you're working for anybody else, there'll be a lot of setbacks. अपना होगा तो बिजनेस में कोई वेंडर ने कोई इशू कर दिया, कोई आपके प्रोडक्शन में इशू आ गया, कोई आपका रॉ मटेरियल्स में कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुआ. So you'll have to keep working on it and have a plan B, C, D. Okay, if you're working under somebody, maybe you're doing everything right, but your boss is not in a good mood. वो आके आपको चिल्ला देगा, आप पे गुस्सा करेगा, whatever. So जब ऐसा कुछ होगा तो आपको again you'll be like, I'm doing so much work and she doesn't listen to me and she doesn't appreciate my work. You'll have to get over with all of this. Okay, so that's something that you scored pretty okay with. And this happens mostly in areas like retails or events, fashion show. कितना stressful होता है जब एक fashion show ना होता है. So designers don't sleep nights together, and that makes them really, really irritable and all of that. और हर जगह से pressure आएगा, सब कुछ होगा. So that handling that is important. Okay. Then your adaptability scores again is very high, which is 9. So this is a skill that you will have to, like I just talking about it, you have to be very agile. ट्रेंड्स जल्दी जल्दी बदल रहे हैं, आपको क्विक डिसीजंस लेने हैं, आपको टेक्नोलॉजीज को अडॉप्ट करना है, मार्केट डिमांड्स को अडॉप्ट करना है. One day something is in, one day something is not in. So you will have to keep adapting to what is happening in the market, and the agility of doing it quickly is important. Okay, so make sure this everybody has to understand that. And this again, fashion buying, fashion technology, social media marketing, e-commerce, so everything changes now. I remember when I started, there was nothing like social media. Phone bhi nahi hota tha. Then we adapted, we went on, and a very classic example is this industry before COVID and after COVID. Before COVID, कुछ भी नहीं था ना, everything was not online. The fashion specifically was offline. हम जाते थे, हमें पहन के देखना है, हमें उसको touch and feel करके देखना है. And we wanted different clothes. Every picture that's been taken, media, social media पे आ गई picture. मैंने ये garment पहना है, अब मैं दोबारा नहीं पहनूंगी क्योंकि ये already photos जा चुकी है. So when we do things like that, that was before COVID. After COVID, people realized that it's okay to repeat. So that's where classic fashion came back. A lot of designers shut stores because they were not agile enough to adopt technology. बहुत सारे लोग थे जिनको नहीं आ रहा था कि हम ई-कॉमर्स में कैसे बेचेंगे. Some of them were very good. It made them more sense, because I remember we were in conversation with Tarun Telyani once, and he said that मेरे लिए इतना आसान हो गया है कि मैं कारीगर जो छोटे गांव में वीवर्स हैं, कारीगर्स हैं, उनके पास हम जाते थे. So we used to fly down every time. But now, because they have also adopted technology, we also understand it. तो हम लोग सिर्फ जूम मीटिंग में देख लेते हैं, हम व्हाट्सएप कॉल्स में बात कर लेते हैं, और जब एक सैंपल बन जाता है दे सेंड इट ओवर. मेक सो मच सेंस. पैसे बच गए, टाइम बच गया, काम भी हो गया. So that adaptability and agility is required. Okay. And last is the risk taking. Again, like what sir was trying to tell you, risk does not mean कि मैं कुतुब मीनार से छलांग मार दूंगी. जी गई, मर गई. That's a risk. We can't do that. Okay. So yeah, if I put a parachute or I have a safety net niche, that's risk taking with certain precautions. Okay. So those are called calculated risks. I do understand market will change. If I'm selling something abroad, you know how export houses do that. They have everything to be exported. So they have to make a TNA where they know that they have to, उनका production raw material बनना चाहिए, production ऐसा होना चाहिए, इतने time में होना चाहिए, costing इतने time में होना चाहिए, shipment इतने time में जाना चाहिए. So it's all very calculated thing. But what they do is they give buffer times. अगर मुझे किसी ने बोला है, वेंडर ने बोला है कि आपको फैब्रिक 1 महीने में मिलेगा, तो मैं अपने टीएनए में उसको शायद 60 डेज कर दूं, क्योंकि मुझे पता है कि कहीं स्ट्राइक हो सकता है, कोई नेचुरल डिजास्टर हो सकता है, कुछ भी हो सकता है, माल आने में टाइम लगेगा. तो मैंने वो बफर ले लिया. सो आई स्टिल टेकन दैट रिस्क, but I've still kept my comfort zone there. So when it goes to the final product being shipped, there also I have to keep that buffer time. If the buyer wants the product to be shipped at a certain time, I will have to back calculate and make sure कि उससे मैंने अपने वेंडर्स को, कारीगर्स को, सबको उससे 2 महीने पहले तक का टाइम दिया है, ताकि अगर मेरे का थोड़ा बहुत भी डिले हुआ तो मुझे वो टाइम तक तो पहुंच जाएंगे. ठीक है. सो दैट्स वेयर वी से द कैलकुलेशन ऑफ द रिस्क्स हैपन. ओके. ऑल्सो रुपी कैन फॉल और राइज हुआ तो बहुत अच्छा, बट अगर रुपी फॉल होता है तो वी आर गॉन, राइट. सो हमारा आधा इन्वेस्टमेंट गया. सो वील हैव टू गिव द कॉस्ट as per what we can envision at that point of time. रुपी वैल्यू क्या होगा, सो हमें वो भी देखना पड़ेगा. So all said and done, entrepreneurs need, and startups, they need to understand the amount of risk. मैं ये नहीं कह रही हूँ कि आप लोग लाखों रुपया लगाओ और सोचो कि बहुत अच्छा बनेगा and I will grow and I will get my ROI in one sale. Won't happen. So you will have to start कि okay, मैं इतने छोटे से शुरू करूंगी और आगे for the next 6 months, this is how it's going to be. And if this doesn't work, this is my backup plan. Okay. So in entrepreneurship, we teach you something called a lean canvas. Okay. It's similar to a business plan, but it's more like a lean way of working. It's lean canvas is more for startups. Okay. I'll have to let me stop sharing it. Then I can see everybody else working. Okay, so the lean canvas is more like a Google map. Okay, इस Google map में क्या होगा, मैंने अपना start point डाला है, मैंने अपना end point डाल दिया है कि मुझे यहाँ तक पहुँचना है. बट बीच में कहीं पे भी कोई डिविएशन आ रहा है या कहीं कोई रोड ब्लॉक आ रहा है, सो गूगल विल टेल मी कि यहाँ से नहीं जाओ, इधर से जाओ, एक छोटा सा डाइवर्जन ले लो, फास्टेस्ट रूट, थोड़ा डिलेड रूट है बट स्मूथ रूट है, so you can keep changing. So that's when we say the agility and adaptability comes in. So because you're a startup, you will be able to um, keep changing your plans and updating your plans. Okay, 1 second. I see a couple of questions. Pranjali is asking, what about new growing sites like New Asia and a little box, etc. are luxury if their prices are reasonable? Okay, इनका क्या है ना? Again, consumer behavior. All right, so here is Indian mentality. कुछ भी फिरंग चीज आएगा तो वो अच्छा है, और वो अच्छा है तो even if it's like how Miniso it is there. Miniso is very affordable. Pricing is very, very affordable. Very cute looking things, but quality wise, average. But people go rush. It's very popular. Yeah? So it's also depending on the consumers that you're or the market they are targeting. Okay. And okay. No, this was thank you, ma'am. Okay. Good. So this brings us to the end of the session. And if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Anyone? Pranjali, are you okay with the question, the answer I gave you? Okay. So, Kanaya sir, do you have anything to say?
No, ma'am, I don't have to say. The thing is, we have paucity of time and we have another event schedule on the same panel, so we
Okay.
have to wind up this session now. So, friends, if you have any question, please write down the number 9711 I'll just repeat and I'll write in the chat box also. This is 9711 You can call on this number. My program advisory is there. They can help you, guide you with all the details. In case if you need to connect with any faculty, if you want to talk to any faculty, or if you have any doubts regarding how to start your own business or how to get into the fashion business, how to become a fashion designer, my faculty is there, my team is there. They can connect you with Dr. Gulwas ma'am, Richard sir, and any of my faculty members. So thank you so much for joining in. Now signing off.
And I think Kanaya sir, just देखना मैंने ठीक जगह पे डाला है, or I have sent the document that we had promised these kids. I'm not so sure if I've kept it in the right place.
So in case we can also send it on the WhatsApp, ma'am.
Okay, so let's do that.
Who have registered,
I tried
will
sending
send
it here, but I don't know.
Right, ma'am. Right. So we will send it to the WhatsApp.
Done. Thank you all.
Ma'am.
And we do hope to talk to you again.
Sure.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.